Well, the news just gets better and better, doesn't it, guys? 6:20 in the morning, West Coast time. It is Sunday, the 15th of September, 2024. Okay, so I was listening to the morning news on KTLA Channel 5, and they were still monitoring what was happening with the Rancho Palos Verdes Peninsula. It seems the slide is affecting more communities than I anticipated, but expected. Area of Rolling Hills, the city of Rolling Hills, is also having their issues. They haven't seen anything concerning about the damage, but Southern California Gas and Edison and Cal Water, well, they're got the links on their own community page here. And it's been reported that Edison's going to shut down power indefinitely to certain areas of Rolling Hills Estates. There's certain areas of it that are being affected by the slide. This Wednesday, 6 p.m. Of course, they're trying to have more city updates as much as possible. Next one's going to be Monday at noon. I'd like to see that if it was going to be online because I wanted to know what was going on with it. Just to chart the extension of how much strain we're talking about on the ground here. Looking at Google Maps, I'm looking at the peninsula. I'm trying to get it shortened up a bit. Or they got to get me a new mouse. Um, but they talked about the Portuguese Bend area, major disaster areas in there, in certain streets, homes crumpled, and having that much strain being put on the utility resources such as water, gas, and electricity. Even the craggy areas that I've seen on a map regarding it, I'm wondering if the slide itself, and they said there were about two slides going on. Top portion running slower, but still damaging, and then underneath has a little bit more faster rate because of the water in the table in the rock that is making it more liquefied. And as I said before, my other videos, slip and slide attitude with the area over there, and just how much stress are they going to be pulling on the rest of the peninsula? Is it going to be widespread on this one? I mean, wider than what they've expected. What I haven't heard on the local news, and I'm waiting for more information on it, is whether or not we're going to be uh, having a peninsula, the entire peninsula, just slide off. It's a scary time. Southern California Gas has their own page, and they're talking about the land movement. It's been updated a few days ago. I got to get some of these links put into mine. I really do. From what they're saying in support of Rancho and Rolling, they've got a relief fund for their residents. It's not much, but it's trying to build up. They got a Palos Verdes Peninsula Rotary Foundation relief fund going on, and they're trying to collect more money to help the residents out with their needs. From what they're saying on their site, and I'm quoting on this one, over the last several months, significant land movement in the Portuguese Bend Beach Club, and parts of the Seaview communities have made it unsafe for the SoCal Gas to continue providing natural gas to some residents in those areas. Most recently, following a geologic hazard survey and an incident with the water system validating concerns, SoCal Gas has determined that recent and potential land movements have made it unsafe to continue providing gas service for 34 homes in the city of Rolling Hills. It will be discontinued to those homes indefinitely effective Monday, the 16th September, approximately 3 p.m. They're still trying to coordinate with first responders, and they're trying to coordinate with everybody else. But you're going to be asking how and why. Well, think of it this way. The utilities concerning about the water systems and power and gas, things that we always need for sustenance. Gas has always buried their lines underneath. They haven't put it on top of areas except if necessary. But mostly, when you're driving around different areas, you don't know whether or not people are getting gas or not. But if they are getting gas, like a major community like Rolling Hills, or say like the San Fernando Valley or Los Angeles, gas lines go throughout the place underneath. But when you have a major geologic upheaval going on, such as movement of the earth, whatever kind of direction, it shifts things around. Not to mention shifting the pipes around. And if there's enough sufficient force and strain on the pipes, there's going to be cracking. There's going to be leaks. And with those leaks, that means we have flammable material coming up through. Now, I heard a long time ago, and I smelled it, actually. There's this kind of odor put into the gas lines to make people aware that there is natural gas, because normally it's not smellable. There's no odor to it. But artificially put an odor in it, then you detect that there's gas leaks. Even in the apartment complex I'm living in right now in Rosamond, California, we have gas. We also have units that measuring units tell you how much gas is being used. With that, we have pipes exposed a little bit. The gas shut-off valves that you've seen in houses and complexes, gas going through them, measuring, but they're also a shut-off valve to make sure that there's no gas going into a place in case of an emergency or situation happens. If the gas hasn't been shut off and there's a crack and somehow it gets ignited, boom. 1994 earthquake in Northridge, Rinaldi and Balboa area, a little further north, about a few yards away. You'd seen water main breaks from the DWP pipes. You also seen gas mains broken by Edison. If the gas mains break and there was an ignition happening, two sites you freak out like crazy, seeing water and gas. The two shall never meet. 1 second, my dog is needing me. I'm going to be doing some more videos a little bit later on concerning about the fire situations, but this one I just wanted to touch bases about. Now I was trying to talk about gas lines. Once they are broken, I mean, yeah, it is explosive and very dangerous, and that's what they're worried about, is losing infrastructure, but mostly that. If the continuing earth movement at the peninsula, at the Rancho Palos Verdes Peninsula, still continues, and I'm going to say when, it's going to be putting a stress and strain on their pipes. They could try putting it on top of the streets, but it's going to make navigation difficult for first responders to get through. And in one way, they're trying to salvage as much issues with the first responders trying to get through the jagged roads and the crumbling roads that we have out there. I can't see it on the Google Maps because it's several months old. Very few portions of the slide are noticeable. But while it continues on its creep and its continuing devastation, excuse me, I just don't have the updated information necessary to see on the maps because I'd love to take an image more of it. Not because it's so fascinating seeing people's properties about to crumble and go into the water, but it's terrifying, well, in its own nature. Seeing this kind of force of nature going. I've seen landslides. I've seen them up close after they've happened. And in this situation, it's terrifying to watch. And I'm seeing this happen right now. If they actually had live cameras, but they wouldn't want to put live cameras out there to see this action happening. Because maybe in a distance. But it wasn't. So, excuse me 1 second. My allergies are kicking in. Apologies. To me, it just wasn't just a small area. It was a few mile radius that's increasing on the strain and the stress of it. If there's enough water load in it, it's going to be sucking everything else nearby into this slide that's going out to the water. It's a terrifying thing to look at. If I happen to switch this on well, I happen to get a street view of the thing. What I'm trying to do is get a viewpoint of this on the street. Or just looking at it as such. And seeing how just much issues we're going to have with this. Suppose I could put it into a 3D mode. Just looking at the two fangs of the peninsula. What I was trying to research and really look at is the damages along the streets and the highways. Any bending, warping, cracking, crumbling. It's scary, it's terrifying. Geology is a force of nature to be studied, true, and surprises the daylights on how Earth movement can change things a great deal, and it does. I'm just awed because the amount of force that's being generated by the weight of the mass on top of rocks has already been liquidated. That's already been lubricated. I think that was the word I was searching for. A massive lubrication underneath. Why I came up with the idea of slip and slide at this point over here. You get enough weight on the thing, and if the slide's on a downhill, extenuated by gravity, you would see how it's forced and how scary it is. I said before a while ago in my other videos, the images are not they're not sharp enough. They're good for generalization, but they're not sharp enough that I'd like to have seen. But even with the images that they have concerning about what shifting of the ground is, the strain on the rocks and the strain on the soil. What I'm looking for as I examine these images on Google Maps of the peninsula is where's the strain from the old pictures that they put up here and how much of a difference there is these days. But where's the strain being shown? And when I come across a certain particular highway, or actually a roadway, I am trying to see whether or not if the Google Maps would actually accurately get out of here. Damn bugs. Yeah, bug war still continues here. I think we got a cessation of hostility so far. I'm trying to grasp. I'm trying to grasp the enormity of the situation here. See, the maps just don't have accurate enough information. I'd like to see an overhead map, a current map, what the peninsula looks like, so I can really look at it in more deeper detail and see where everyone else is looking at. Maybe in a way to show that to people what's going on. I feel more for the residents out there. I do. Because they're facing a situation that they have never faced before, and quite frankly, no one else has. A community about to be slid into the ocean, and they don't want that. They want their home saved. It's a major investment in their lives. But it's not just that, is it? It's not just that, is it? Because they're dealing with their livelihood, they're dealing with what their memories are like, and they still want it retained and maintained. They want a legacy for their families. I understand that. It costs them everything else to have them for that kind of property, to have that viewpoint of the water that they would wake up to and not realize that one day they're going to be losing it, and they didn't expect it to come up so damn soon. It's like when you move into a neighborhood, you don't expect it to have a sinkhole just up you, just open up and slurp things in. Or living right next to an earthquake fault zone that you didn't realize, and then one day you're waking up, and for demonstration purposes, with two hands. With two hands. Okay, enough of the demonstration. It's making me sick. Just looking at it makes me sick. Because I've lived through a lot of earthquakes before. Once is enough. But then when you add one more and another one and another one, yeah, it kind of makes you feel sick to your stomach about these things. So this is the thing that about geology I try to study is why. But once I understand why and how and the mechanisms, the frequency is a different thing altogether. The frequency is a lot different. So, for right now, we've got rolling estates shutting down and utilities one by one. They'll be wanting to get their own power generators, solar powers going on if they can. Mostly it's going to be gas or whatever, propane or whatever they're going to be using to maintain their electricity, to maintain their water supply. Because out in that area, they depended upon electricity for their sewage and water. To shut those things off, they're going to be dead in water. And I don't know if there's going to be another miracle coming out from somewhere on how to save this whole peninsula because Mother Nature will have her way. And she will take down whatever she wants to, in whatever form or fashion.